Good morning, everybody. I think it's time to just stand up. I think you'd appreciate that. But I want you to do an exercise, so let's stand up and just follow my cues here. It is a bit of a stretch exercise. I think you will enjoy it. So firstly, if you will stand like this, have your hand like that, your thumb up. Right? Then what you're going to do, you're all going to stretch around backwards as far as you can, and you're going to mark your furthest point of stretching. And come back slowly. Okay, you have that in mind. Now, there's just one more second round on this, but I'd like you to first close your eyes. And just think and imagine for a moment, what is that desired destination where you would like to be in the future? Think about it. And as you have that image and destination in your mind, that's your personal journey destination, know that this destination is further than the point that you marked while stretching the first time round. Actually, it's way back, way further. But with that in mind, you are going on your journey and stretching all the way around and see if you can get to that point. So stretch again and see how far you can go. Looking at your thumb and see how far you can go. All right, that's a bit of a stretch, a physical stretch, but that's what we do in our minds, and it's always true that we can go so much further. You may sit down now. Let me give you just a bit of a background and context, so before I share with you my message. I'm a born and bred Afrikaner in Pretoria. I studied theology and became a pastor for 19 years till 2001. And that's where I had a personal experience that had quite a dramatic impact on my life, and I stood before a new change. But is ultimately what I experienced to be a new calling, and in short, it was that I felt I could make and should make a contribution to transformation in South Africa through leadership development. So that took me on my journey. In 2007, 10 years ago, I wrote a book, The Leadership Challenge in Africa. Bishop Desmond Tutu was kind enough to write the foreword. And the reason for writing the book was really to understand more of Africa, to find really, what I can see is the challenge in Africa, therefore the title, The Leadership Challenge in Africa, and to start working in my personal capacity and with what I believe I can offer towards facing that challenge. So today, it's actually a very special day then for me in my personal journey, as we all experience at times moments where we can look back at things that happened and where we were challenged in terms of our courage to listen to our inner voice and make the change, even though it might be very, very difficult, as indeed I experienced it as well. So I want to greet you then as future leaders and leaders of tomorrow. Of course, you are already leaders, but as we know, we're always on a journey. We never truly arrive as leaders, and there's always new things to learn and to develop. With that said, I think everything that we've heard so far is so magnificent. I really want to thank the previous speakers for what they shared. But the wonderful thing is actually to see how much in alignment is the message that you're getting today, so that, in fact, probably I'm going to more reinforce some of the things you already heard. in what I'm going to share with you. But as I've read somewhere, that in leadership, when we admire a leader, it's often not because of what the leader said or what the leader even did, but how he made you feel. So I hope that I can make you feel something that you can take away with you and that will inform your decisions and your journey going forward. I want to thank Old Mutual then and the sponsor and the Cape Media team also for this opportunity to focus on tomorrow's leaders annually, because I truly believe it is critical important. I think if we look at the world, if we look at our continent, if we look at South Africa, our country, then it's very clear that we are in need, I believe, desperately in need of a different breed, a different kind of leader. And that different kind of leader is what we in Future Leaders Africa and our umbrella company Future Leaders Development call inside-out, principle-based leadership. Because let me say this, we believe that just as we are warmed by the fire and not the smoke of the fire, so our households, our communities, our work organizations, our societies, our nations are warmed and made effective by authentic, inside-out, principle-based leadership. I want you to understand, and I truly believe this, that leadership is not about personal achievements and to be the high performer. It goes beyond performance. Leadership is not about being the expert. It goes beyond expertise. Leadership is not about climbing the ladder of success. It's not about climbing that ladder towards more power and more status. It is beyond climbing ladders. Leadership is not even about skills. It goes beyond skills. It's not about knowledge. It goes beyond knowledge. In fact, what it is the expression of your whole self to effect good things in and through others. The expression of your whole self. So, what I want to share with you are 4 points that I see as really the cornerstones for your authentic influence as a leader in your own right. So these 4 points really speak directly to your inner being, the center of who you are. Your beliefs, your convictions, the things that inspire you, the things that make you different, but is uniquely what you, at your core of your being, feel. So those cornerstones that I will share with you is there because when we think about leadership, I'm sure we will all agree that what we expect of a leader is the following. The leader is somebody that needs to demonstrate character and resilience, master him or herself with his or her potential, work with and through others, and bring significant positive changes. Of course, those things we expect of good leaders. But before I get to these 4 things, let me take a moment in saying that as we sit here, I truly believe that there are many good messages that life is giving us as we sit here. It's coming to us. Things that affirm us, things that excite us, things that we can see and take as positives, as a foundation to go forward with. But the important thing about those things that we can take on and that we can celebrate as good things, things that affirm us, is this, that with every celebration, there is an obligation to take the responsibility for that what we celebrate going forward. There's always a dual message in life. The one is what you are given, but the very next one embedded in that same message or gift would be always the same: your responsibility. And that's why we would go on journeys to develop our leadership. So here are the 4 things that I want to share as cornerstones, and there's the first one. You are blessed and you are worthy. You are blessed because you are a creation of God. You are not an accident. You're not a coincidence. Being a creation of God means that you have a blueprint that is unique to you. It is your thumbprint, it's in your DNA, and with that is also given to you the purpose for your life. Much as what we heard already with what Tabang earlier said. That is your guideline. Now, often we have questions in terms of what really is my life purpose, and I agree that it is not something set in stone. But when you think about things that you enjoy doing, when you think about things that come easily to you as abilities that you have, when you think about things that you truly value, that you feel is important in life, your beliefs, and when you put all of those things together and they intersect in some area, you will know that that's my calling, that's my purpose. That is unique to what I feel. I'm drawn towards it. And that will take you forward on your life journey and purpose. So let's remember that fulfilling your purpose is not something out there, and previous speakers also emphasized that point. It's not something out there. It's not some luck that you need to come across. It's not a paved path, for sure, towards success. It's all in here. It's in your potential, and it is in your freedom of choice to make the decisions, to take responsibility for what was given to you. Not once, not a few times, every time, and in fact, every moment of the day. So the celebration, of course, is what you are blessed with, and the fact that you are unique in who you are and what you were given. So love yourself for that. But embedded in that is then always the message: take responsibility for being your own person. Now that is a challenge. That takes courage. But it also builds character, and it builds resilience. And it's also where you get your passion from, the fuel for your engine to live towards your purpose in life. So it is difficult, but that's exactly the qualities we look for when we talk leadership: character, resilience, courage, passion. And that is by listening to your true self. Of course, it is easier said than done still, because from childhood you have been fed so many messages of what you need to survive in this world, what you need to be valued in this world and recognized and appreciated in this world, that through all of the things you heard and you see out there still today, there's subconsciously a way of processing all those things to an ideal self that you see for yourself. An ideal self that will also specifically please the ego. But that's where we can go wrong. Because our true value, our true worth, is to meet that person in the mirror that is your true self. So taking responsibility for living an authentic life is to step out of the crowd, is to have your time with yourself so that you know where you live an inauthentic, a fake life, and where you are truly the person that you are meant to be, irrespective of the pressures of life, irrespective of what you might see as your security and comfort zones, but that you are willing to live up to your authentic self. So the easy part of living an authentic life is to look at your strengths because it's there, and to go and live your strengths and optimize and use your strengths in whichever way and grow with this. The more difficult part is to face your weaknesses, to acknowledge your weaknesses, and not to deny it. So why would one do that? We have to do that because we all have blind spots. And those blind spots can exactly be that limiting factor that is preventing you from growing more into your true self and closer to your destiny. So we have to face up, we have to listen and receive the feedback with people around us for the blind spots that we are not aware of. And as we do that, of course, we are challenged to overcome those things, to learn and to grow. And once you've done one and made some progress, there's always another one waiting for you, because that is life. But let us remember that there's nothing so terribly wrong with being wrong, or having made a judgment fault, error in your life. Nobody's perfect. And the sooner we can get rid of that ego-driven side that always wants to protect ourselves and promote ourselves, the closer we move towards being the real person that you can be and where all your potential is directing to. So future leaders, leaders of tomorrow, your leadership cannot stand on a false image of yourself, be it an overestimation or an underestimation of it. It will surely fail you and others sooner or later. You will not reach your potential by trying to copy anybody else, again, a message that we already heard. So with Jeremy's idea that we put some questions to you rather than the statement here, I can ask you, and you can ask yourself, do you know yourself as a blessed and worthy person with a unique purpose? The second thing is to say, you are a rising star. Leadership is, of course, not only about resilience and character and passion, etc., but it's also about unlocking that potential that is given to you. And that comes through a process and a journey of self-mastery, where you constantly challenge yourself in terms of how am I doing in unlocking my potential. And let me stress and say it is unlimited potential, because it's not given to us to put a limit or a lid to our potential with own self-limiting beliefs. What is for us to do is to use our responsibility of making the choices. We have the freedom of choice in every second, every moment of the day. And then it's important to understand that with that responsibility and in that moment of making a choice, I'm not only responding to what is coming to me, I'm not only reacting, I am in fact a co-creator of what is coming next to me. Your response becomes the next situation that you face. So it is in all your hands, and is with the choices you make every moment that you determine the direction of your life. You are the author of your life story. It is a responsibility, but you are gifted and designed to take on that responsibility and to live that responsibility. So it is your choice whether you take on the challenges from time to time to grow your self-awareness, to grow your self-confidence, to grow your self-discipline, to grow your self-initiative, to grow your adaptability, your perseverance, all the things that make out your self-mastery of the things that were given to you, and you have to master it as your own journey in life. So celebrate your potential, but take responsibility for for your purpose. I think I've jumped one there. Right, the third one is that you are connected. How sad is it to see somebody, a high performer, a highly driven person, sitting there surrounded by all his framed achievements, but empty in his heart because of a lack of loving relationships, because of a neglect of relationships. So leading yourself towards higher achievement is part of leadership, but that's the poorer part. Be assured of that. The richer part is to participate in something where there's a collective effort and cooperation towards something much bigger and much more beautiful than what you would have had in mind just as an individual. So the good news is that we live in an interconnected world. It is in our DNA to be relational beings. It's in our DNA to love and to be loved. It's in our DNA to work with others and cooperate. But that also just points to the responsibility we need to take for what is given to us so that we nurture those relationships, so that we put a high price on those relationships. And as a leader, we build our teams, we grow our teams, we build those relationships. We do it by respecting each other, by appreciating each other, and by truly serving each other. So yes, again, ask the question, do you know yourself as part of something bigger and something more beautiful than what you alone can imagine? My last point is this: you are relevant. It's not for nothing that you have been given a unique design to your life, a unique purpose for your life. It is because you are relevant in this world for as long as you live. But you will find it hard to experience that relevance and to celebrate that relevance if you don't fully participate in this dynamic life by noticing the changes and by living through the changes and by continue growing yourself. As a leader, we all know how important it is to stay abreast of changes, of things happening, so that we can align ourselves. We know it's important to understand the shifts from old rules to new rules, old paradigms to new paradigms, old trends to new trends. And therefore, I would say retain that hunger for knowledge, to learn more, to understand more, not only in terms of what you can read and learn from what is out there in the world and how things are changing, but in time you will find, most importantly, how it also addresses you as a person, so that you need also to redefine yourself from the inside out to be relevant. So that is the question. Know yourself as open, or do you know yourself as open to new learning and able to adapt? So those would be the 4 cornerstones, I believe, for authentic leadership. And therefore, just to repeat them, you are blessed and you are worthy with that unique purpose in life. You are also gifted with unlimited potential as far as you can know, so that you can work with that potential. You are connected with others so that you can see and experience something much more bigger and much more beautiful. And then, of course, you are relevant with the ability to grow and adapt and change with times, not only till you reach a certain stage, the height of your career, but till the last day of your life. So I wish you well with your own journey in leading yourself, in leading change, and in leading others by being you. Thank you.